don't believe He's brought me this far to leave me. I don't feel no anxiety. I come too far where I started from. Nobody told overseer that this road would be easy, and I don't believe He's brought me this far. You see, I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that this road would be easy, and I don't believe He's brought me this far. I don't These 20 years, I don't believe that you haven't had heartache and pain. I don't believe that you had no long suffering. I don't believe you did not have any restless, sleepless, endless, endless nights. I don't believe God placed a mantle on your head. I don't believe when you had to cook for those babies as you were stirring those pots. I don't believe He didn't leave you. He didn't forsake you. He didn't stop loving you. He's brought me this far to leave me.
I don't believe He brought me this far to leave me praise in this house tonight. Come on, let's give Him some praise. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Oh, let's come on, let's give Him praise. Come on. Oh, God, we exalt you. Oh, God, we lift your name on high because you're excellent. You're incredible. You're marvelous. There's none like you. Hallelujah. Glory to His name. Glory to His name. If you'll indulge me. In the right church this afternoon. I ain't worried about that. But saints, I need to ask y'all one question, and then I'm trusting the Holy Ghost is going to let me preach. But I've got one question to ask you before I go on here. Has He shown up been good?
want to say a word this afternoon about when yielding to God. When yielding to God. Look at the date of September the 11th, 2001. Have changed our lives forever. One of the most notable changes is in the security procedures and practices of the airline industry. The changes include the conditions under which one can board an airplane and what one can carry in one's bags on one's person onto the airplane. Traveling by airplane certainly is not what it used to be. When I was in seminary in Atlanta, there were 4 of us who hung out together. There was Marcus D. Cosby, Darren David Crenshaw, and Martin Ray Peters, and James Lewis Bumpus. And none of us had much of anything when we got there. One of us showed up with no money. Another one of us showed up with $5. Another one of us showed up with just enough money for half of a school year. But what I discovered was that as we shared together, we never lacked anything. Didn't have nothing, but didn't lack anything. And God fixed it so oftentimes when Marcus, Marty, and I didn't have anything, Darren had something. And when Darren, Marty, and Marcus didn't have anything, I had something. That's just the way God fixed it when we were together there in seminary. And we were invited to preach all over the country, and we'd fly in and fly out weekends, and it was interesting. We got into the habit of leaving 645 Beckwood Street down in the AU Center to make it out to Hartsfield Airport 15 minutes before the flight would leave. We got in the habit of doing that because we could realistically make it to the airport and get through baggage claim and get to the gate in enough time to catch the plane and fly out. But something drastically changed. September the 11th, 2001. And I found myself flying out a few weeks later after that tragic event, and conditioned to leaving 15, 20 minutes before the plane would leave, to make it to the airport, to go through baggage claim and get to the gate in time to catch my flight, to only be surprised that things had changed. I had in a bag that I carried with me when I traveled all kinds of wonderful instruments that I had picked up over the years. Some of them were surgical instruments. They were very sharp. I used them as grooming devices, and I had them in the bag. I had all kinds of scissors. They were different sizes of scissors in the bag. It hadn't ever been a problem traveling with the bag before. I carried it as I'd always done before with me again, only to get to the TSA checkpoint. To send the bag through. And as it was being x-rayed, the TSA agents became concerned. And I was standing in line, I was anxious. I said, what in the world could be going on? That they stopped the line and they're going through these bags. I had lotion in there that had, 6 or 8 ounces of lotion. I had cologne. I had all kinds of things that used to be all right to have in the bag that were all of a sudden wrong. And now I was getting frustrated and starting to use some words that I couldn't find in Sunday school, or never heard in Sunday school before, that I couldn't find in the 23rd Psalm or in the Lord's Prayer. And I said, who in the world could this be holding the line up? You already see my dilemma, don't you? Only to discover it was me. I was pulled over for a random security check. They said, sir, is this your bag? I very proudly said, yes. I said, what's the problem? She said, come here, we need to talk to you a minute. And they pulled me over and they asked me, haven't you read the new procedures and haven't you read the new rules and regulations regarding what you can or cannot have on your person or in bags when you're coming through the TSA checkpoint? I said, now wait a minute, I just traveled 3 weeks ago, there's no problem with this bag. I had all the stuff that I have in there now. She said, well, it's a problem now. That woman looked at me with such disgust, she took all 13 pairs of those scissors and cutting instruments out of that bag, held them up in my face, and threw them in the garbage can with the kind of disdain I can't even make you understand. She said, don't you ever. She said, you got all this lotion and cologne and stuff. I know y'all laughing at me. But just 3 weeks before, it was not a problem. But what I discovered was that in the wrong hands, as innocent as those instruments were to me, in the wrong hands, they may be weapons of mass destruction. Are y'all praying with me here? Yes, sir. I felt so violated when they pulled me over to the side. And then, as I begun to understand what was taking place, I had concerns about issues of privacy. And how much privacy does one give up in the name of feeling safe, in the name of feeling secure? Because you know that you can only really be safe and only secure in the hands of God. Because if somebody really wants to get you, if they really got it out for you, they can get you. Are y'all praying with me here? So I began to raise privacy issues. What I had to do was that I had to yield to, I had to surrender to, I had to give over to the security check. They searched my person and they searched my bags. I had to be willing to allow them to take those things deemed harmful, although I thought they were quite harmless. Those instruments to me simply utility items, but in the wrong hands could lead to mass destruction. The intent of the security searches was this: to keep travelers honest, to keep harm from the individual and all who are traveling. There are 3 things I want to share with you. I might not share these fully today, but I want to share 3 things with you as it relates to yielding to God. Yielding our bodies to God as instruments of righteousness. And I think that Overseer Terry is a model. I think that she has lived a life of yielding her body as an instrument of righteousness. And can I talk about righteousness for just a minute? Rectitude of life, rectitude of living, right, upstanding living, holiness. And I know in the Holiness Church, holiness is right. Yeah, I heard God say, as I am holy, be ye also holy. Living righteous has to do with how really we treat our brothers and sisters. It has to do with the condition of our heart, the condition of our mind, the condition of our spirit, the condition of our soul in relationship to our brothers and sisters. Yield our bodies as instruments of righteousness. What we need now, in this time, in this day, in this moment, is believers to live righteous lives, to stand up and to be righteous, to be right. Have I got a witness here? And I want to remind you that right is right and wrong is wrong. And I know we're living in a time when there are those who are operating with alternative facts, alternative truth. I would dare say an alternative right. But there ain't but one right, and there ain't but one truth. And that right and truth rests in our God. God is righteous. God is true. He's inexpressibly holy. Are y'all praying with me here? And he's called for us to be righteous. And the end of the practice of righteousness, Jeremiah says, is peace. If we want peace in our community, what we need is more righteous people. Righteousness, which expresses itself this way: do unto others. Y'all not praying with me here. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Righteousness that expresses itself in this: love thy neighbor as thyself. Love your neighbor as another self. In other words, here it is: it's a charitable love. It's a compassionate love. It's compassionate charity is really what it is. And this is the right understanding of it.
When I'm compassionately charitable, what I do is I look at you, my brother and sister, realizing what I would need to survive, realizing what I need to make it, realizing what I need to live and to be whole, and in your place, set myself. Are you here with me? So if I need a pair of shoes, I know you need shoes. If I need clothes, I know you need clothes. Ain't no need of me getting in the corner talking about, oh, ain't it a shame she got on them old run over raggedy shoes. And here I am talking about I love her. Are y'all in the room with me here tonight? Ain't no need of just talking about how raggedy the shoes are. If I'm exercising charitable or compassionate charity, all I do is go buy a pair, find out what size she wear. Go buy a pair of new shoes. Don't make no big admiration about it. Don't run my mouth talking about, well, you know, I went and got Sister Tilly Dallas shoes because her shoes was run over and raggedy. I know that, yeah, I need access to health care. I know, I got to go down to this social commentary in just a minute. I'm coming back to that. So if I know I need access to health care, if you're going to be whole and healthy, you also need access to health care. Are y'all praying with me? If I know I need education, I need my mind taught and trained, not just to memorize facts, but to think critically. And not for you to tell me what to think. Reverend, can I talk to you a minute because you're in education? See, education ain't about me regurgitating what you put in me. It's about you teaching me how to think critically and me thinking critically for myself and coming to the conclusion for myself and not just regurgitating what you told me. Because what I've come to realize is this, that everybody don't teach truth. Oh, there's a whole lot of lies in textbooks. There's a whole lot of lies in encyclopedias. They keep trying to tell you you're less than human because of the darkness, the hue of your skin, the texture of your hair. They keep trying to tell you that you're just a little higher than monkeys, gorillas, and apes. Oh no, that ain't what the Bible says. No, that ain't the truth of what the Bible says. The Bible says that I was created in the image and likeness of God, the Imago Dei. Out of the dust of the earth. And God breathed into my nostrils the breath of life, and I became a living soul. I didn't evolve from a tadpole, from a reptile, from a monkey. I don't care what Darwin said. I'm created by God, wonderfully and intricately made, and so are you. And don't let nobody tell you anything different. No, you're not less than. You're not the tail, you're the head. Created just a little more than angels. Righteousness. You know you want respect. So then if you're going to be given respect, you got to learn how to give respect. To be heard, but what I've got to learn is before somebody hears me, I've got to learn how to listen first. Oh, that's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And the reason so many of us mess up is because we talk twice as much as we listen. And our lives would be so much better if we would listen twice as much as we talk. Righteousness. No, righteous living. Living in the light. Giving of yourself. Righteous living. Here it is.
Some of, people look at me and sometimes people think I'm a wonder that fell out of heaven, and I am not. There's not anything extraordinary about me. Thank you, Mariah, for that beautiful, glowing introduction. But let me tell you, I'm average or perhaps even less than average. But I'm going to tell you what did happen for me, what God did for me. He gave me a granddaddy and gave me a grandmama that helped me to build self-esteem. They gave me the most precious gift that any human being could ever be given, and that's the gift of self-esteem. And then they went about, and I love my mama for this. And a lot of y'all don't know, but my mama in her later years acknowledged her call to be an evangelist. And she was trying to get over my granddaddy's stuff. My granddaddy was a Black Baptist preacher, very conservative, studied in Southern Baptist schools, very conservative. She acknowledged the call to ministry when she was 12, but he said, baby, I don't see that nowhere. And in that age, in that time, are y'all with me? But in later years, she acknowledged that she wasn't that. And one of the best things she ever gave me was this. She wouldn't let me hate my daddy. She insisted. She said, he's a rascal, but that ain't your problem. She said, he ain't done right, but that ain't your problem. That's a grown folks problem, and you a child, and you stay in a child's place. She said, if you want to live, if you want to be blessed, she said, honor your father and your mother, that it might be well with you. And a lot of our young folk are not living as well as they could be living is because they disrespect authority. Disrespect authority in the home, mother and father. I know somebody, I'm trying to free somebody here tonight. I'm going to cross here. I'm trying to free you. Tonight. You get mad at daddy, mad at mama, because they didn't do what you thought should have been done. And I'm not saying that they were right in not doing what they didn't do or what they should have done, but listen here, that's a grown folks problem. There's a God who sits high and who looks low, who loves you unconditionally, regardless of what anybody say, what anybody do. She would let me hate it. She freed me from that. Yeah. My granddad and grandmama, they gave me. I'm talking about righteous living. Talking about righteousness, righteous living. Then let me say just a word about courtesy. Our churches would be so much better. I'm talking about righteousness. Oh, yeah. That we were just more courteous towards one another. Oh, some of us so mean. Some of us so callous. Some of us so hard-hearted. Oh. Every time you see us, we got this mean, nasty look on our face. I just ain't got no joy in Jesus. It just seems like at some point in time, you get you some Jesus joy that will let you smile, that will let you have a pleasant expression on your face, that will allow you just to greet folks just warmly and openly. I mentioned I'm trying to free us today. Can I say one more thing about an instrument of righteousness? And then I'm going to cut across here and talk about this yielding real quick. I'm going to talk about sincerity. I'm going to say a word about struggling and a real quick word about surrender. And then we're going to be out of here, all right? Take your time. All right. Give me about 7 or 8 minutes here. And I'm going to say farewell to you. All right? Here it is. Oftentimes, we in our self-righteousness seek to judge people. All right. Amen. It's rooted in legalism. It ain't got nothing to do with grace. It ain't got nothing to do with God. It ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. It ain't got nothing to do with the Holy Ghost. So y'all mad at me now. It ain't got nothing to do with it. Ain't nothing to do with the Bible. It's got to do with you and your human foolishness. You know Jesus, there's more to Jesus than your self-righteousness. Come on here now. You know the standard of Jesus is higher. Come on here now. It's higher than where you live.
That's right.
Y'all praying with me here? But so often what we do is we set the standard for God where we are. And people can't come into the kingdom because we keep playing games with them. We keep saying, oh, you almost got it. You almost got it. You got to keep, no. Your tongues is baby tongues. You ain't quite saved yet because the tongues you speak in, they ain't full tongues. No. They're baby tongues. You got to come back here and get on the altar. Your dress ain't long enough. I know it come to your ankles, but it ought to be dragging the ground with your 5-inch pumps on. Y'all ain't praying with me. Your hat cocked to the right, it ought to be cocked to the left. Judge these young folk by what they got on. I know you didn't wear what you thought your parents thought you ought to have on. You snuck and chewed gum and blew bubbles, and they didn't want you chewing gum, bubble gum, and blowing bubbles, but you snuck and did it. Y'all praying with me here? I know. Your sister had a baby out of wedlock, and maybe you did too. But they sent the baby up north, and nobody knew that you had the baby. And then here you are in the church. These young girls, nature on them, and they slipped up. She wasn't trying to, but got caught in a weak moment. And rather than you restoring one who's fallen, sit and judge and your self-righteousness. Forgetting the Lord forgave you. Forgetting the community forgave you. Are y'all hearing me? Everybody went on, and it was all right. But you sit with your thumb on the head, foot on the neck. And spoken out self-righteous. God wants us to yield our members as instruments of righteousness. It's an instrumentality. Now, an instrument is useful. I've been watching these boys play tonight on these instruments. An instrument, the keyboard is useful, bass keyboard is useful, the drums, the cymbals, they're all useful. Amen. And see, God wants us to yield to Him so that He can use us to His glory. Use us as an instrument. Here it is. The first idea that this yield communicates is sincerity. Yield yourselves unto God. It's written in the aorist tense. I don't want to get too deep in this Greek, but here it simply means this: one time. For us, listen, this is simply what it means. It means with a made-up mind. Anybody in here tonight got a made-up mind that I'm going to serve the Lord? I've repented. I've turned from sin toward God. It's a repentant mind. It's simply that, Lord, I'm sincere in my heart. I'm open, God. I know I ain't all that I ought to be, but Lord, here I am to be used by you. Use my mind. Use my eyes. Use my mouth. Use my ears. Use my hands. Use my feet. Use my heart. Lord, I'm available. I'm available to you. God desires those who will worship Him in sincerity and in truth. Now, let me tell you something. This woman started ministry 40 years ago. She had to show enough be real about this thing. You know what the old folks said? Whatever you do for the Lord, let it be real. Yeah, oh yeah. She had to be real. She had to be sincere. And whatever she was doing for the Lord, just think about the pushback. Had to be sincere. Had to have a made-up mind. Couldn't be be double-minded. What's wrong with so many of us in the life of the Christian church is we double-minded. We trying to have one foot in the club, one foot in the church. My oldest son said this. I know, y'all think, but he told me this. He said, Reverend. He said, is these folk just trying to tiptoe between ratchetness and righteousness? I know those for all the young folk people. That's simply saying you need to have a made up mind. Need to be sincere and real in whatever you're doing. Are y'all praying with me here? Not only that, this word that translates yield out of the Greek has with it the idea of struggle. Struggling. Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a fight against sin. A fight against sin. Sin is ever present. A fight against sin. To control and protect the members of our body. As an athlete struggles, as a runner struggles, as a fighter struggles. Come help me, Paul, get out of here. And every man who strives for the mastery is temperate in all things. What is the reason, Paul, for corruptible crown? The believer, what is the believer's reason for doing so, Paul? An incorruptible crown. I therefore so run, not as uncertainly. So I fight, not as one that beateth the air, but I keep under my body and I bring it into subjection, lest by any means, when I have preached unto others, I myself am not a castaway. Have I got a witness here? Wouldn't it be a shame for you to preach 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, and die and go to hell? Did you hear what I just said? Wouldn't it be a shame for you to be around the Christian church, to call yourself have been saved, served as a choir member, a deacon, a missionary, a trustee, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, and die and go to hell? A whole lot of folk talking about heaven ain't going. I hear you. Are y'all hearing me here? Only the pure in heart. Only those who know God for themselves. So I want to remind you what the hymn writer says. The hymn writer says simply this: yield not to temptation, but yielding to sin. Each victory will help you another to win. Fight manfully on for dark passions subdue. Look ever to Jesus, he'll carry you through. Shun evil compassions, bad language, disdain. God's name hold in reverence, nor take it in vain. Be thoughtful and be earnest, kind-hearted and true. Look ever to Jesus, he'll carry you through. Ask the Savior to help you. Comfort and strengthen, and ask the Savior to keep you. Have I got a witness here? Ain't he willing? Ain't he able to carry you through? Ain't God all right? Yes. Well, I said a word, my Lord, about being sincere. I said a word about the struggle that we have to face. Fine. I want to say a word about surrendering ourselves to God. Have I got a witness here? There are those whose life driving force is guilt or shame. Others is a need for approval. Others is materialism. Are y'all praying with me here? But I've come by to say to you, don't be so bothered or concerned about those things, but be more concerned about surrendering your spirit, surrendering yourself to God. Ain't God all right? Yes, we can surrender to him in obedience and trust because we know that God loves us. Ain't God all right? I want to remind you that there's some things that God needs
some things in our baggage that are weapons of mass destruction. Are y'all praying with me here? Hold on, yes. And you need to give him over that negativity. You need to give him over that gossiping tongue. You need to give him over that hate-filled heart. You need to give him over deceit and envy, jealousy and divisions, arrogance and wrath, anger and lust. Ain't he all right? Oh, Lord, yes. I come back to remind you that, yes, among the benefits of a surrendered life, freedom, peace, and holy power, Abraham was able to follow God's leading without knowing where it was going to take him. Hannah was able to wait for God. Have I got to witness him? Wait for God's perfect timing without knowing when. Mary, have I got to witness him? Expected a miracle. Yes, Lord, without knowing how. I heard Mary saying, be it unto me according to thy will. Ain't God all right? Yes, Lord. And I don't know about you, but I made up my mind and I resolved in my heart that I'm going to surrender my body as an instrument of righteousness unto God. Righteousness yields peace. Peace yields joy. Joy yields abundant living. Ain't God all right? I'm fully persuaded, yes, Lord, to surrender myself to God, because what God does is perfect. What God expects is right. What God says is true. What God commands is just. What God requires is fair. What God gives is good. What God wants is best. His grace is sufficient. His mercy is abounding. His word is authentic. His help is available. Oh Lord, yes, I decided that I'm going to walk in the truth of God. Yes, Lord. Yes, I am. The truth of God, that God is righteous, holiness is healthy, faithfulness is rewarding, pride is powerful. Is there anybody here know anything about prayer? Won't the Lord, won't he hear and won't he answer prayer? Oh Lord, yes, he heard Hezekiah's prayer. Hezekiah turned his face to the wall. Have I got a witness? And he pled his case before God, and God heard his prayer. I heard the prophet say, get your house in order, or you're going to die. Ain't going all right. But Hezekiah turned his face to the wall and talked to God, and God sent the prophet back and said, tell him he's got 15 more years. Oh, it's a long time to give the God praise. 15 years is a long time. Oh yeah, to give God glory. Ain't he all right? Oh Lord, yeah, he heard. I got up in this here, Jabez's prayer and expanded his territory. He heard Daniel's prayer and shut the lion's jaw. He heard Paul and Silas in the Philippian jail, and he sent an angel with light, and the light of the angel got in the locks. Have I got a witness here? Yes, Lord. It was the angel of the Lord. Have I got a witness here? Yes, Lord. The earth recognized who it was and started shaking, started quaking, started shaking, started shaking, started quaking, started shaking, started quaking. And you know what happened? The chains fell off and they were free. Hey, all right. Oh, Lord, yes. And Jesus has freed us. He who the Son has set free is free indeed. Somebody said, bump us. What has he freed you up to do? to give him praise, to give him worship, to give him glory. Come on, witness him. Oh, Lord, yes. Is there anybody here? Oh, yes. Well, stand on your feet. Oh, yes. And help me give God worship. Oh, yes. Help me give God glory. Bless his name. His name. God's son. Baby's baby. Jesus. My hellhound chaser. Jesus. Bread in the started land. Jesus. Ain't he alright? I said, ain't he alright? Job's horse pointed to half of his daddy. Jesus. Ezekiel's wheel, in the middle of a wheel, the big wheel represents God the Father, the little wheel, God the Son, the Holy Ghost, the spokes, the nations of the world. Ain't he alright? Jesus, yes, Lord, my elder brother. Jesus, ain't he a bridge over troubled water? Jesus, ain't he a lawyer in a courtroom? Come on, witness him. Somebody knows he's a doctor. I said he's a doctor. I said he's a doctor. A doctor in the sick room. And finally, brethren, finally, my dear sister, you know I'm black. You know I'm Baptist. I got to go by Calvary. Somebody said, what did he do? One Friday, he gave his hands to the nails. One Friday, he gave his feet to the rivets. He died for your sins and mine. Are you glad about it? Oh, Lord, yes. But he didn't stay there. Early. All you hear witnesses now. If you know he got up early Sunday morning, help me in here. Say yeah. Say yeah. Oh, yeah. I know he's all right. I know. The man is all right. Look at somebody. Shake their hand like you're going to shake it off. Tell a neighbor. I know he's all right. Look at somebody else. Tell a neighbor. I know he's all right. Look at somebody else. Neighbor.
Ain't you alright? I say, ain't you alright? Say, you're a whip. That's alright. We thank God for Dr. Bumpers. Say that you got some tools you can work with. We thank God. He said you better use what God has given you. Say it's a purpose. It's something that you can do. I feel alright. I feel alright. You got me fired up, doctor. You got me on the shot. I feel good. And my sanctified soul. That's it. I'm stirring up. I'm trying to hold myself. I'm trying to keep the pieces together. I feel alright. We thank God for the man of God preaching the teacher. Woo, simply as a witness. You better be careful. You better know what you're doing when you do what you do. We thank God. Let's give God's message our hand clap. The message has already been preached, but I feel alright. I feel real good. I feel good. I'm sorry nothing. I'm sorry nothing. I'm like you. Pastor Warren, don't get me started out here. We thank God. Bumpers, Dr. Bumpers, and his companion and his family coming. Such a blessing to share with Middle Georgia on this moment, on this occasion that we have for Bishop Terry here. She's like something that metamorphoses over time and through the years. She's like Robin Hood. She's been known as a lot of things. She started out as Sister Terry, worked as missionary Terry, went to evangelist, where she did grassroots work. As I say, I remember Book of Alabama. I remember Grasso Avenue. Y'all know them streets. I remember Botany Cross. And if I can hit your side of town, I remember Fort Hill. God was able to use her, anoint her for better things. Some of us know her as bishop and overseer, but I just simply know her as Mama. Ain't that all right? I know her as Mama. We thank God for her. I was telling Dr. Bumpers that him coming over, him and the First Lady, token of love. We know God gonna bless you real good. I don't know where you got for you, God, but it's something real good. We gonna claim that today. We gonna claim it. You know, people ain't scared to think outside the box now. And that's why they don't get blessed no more. Scared to stop out. But I want to push the needle a little bit. I want to shift the paradigm. I don't want to be like other folks used to be. I want to do something different. I want God to use me. God is a good God. We thank you, Bishop Terry, for 40 long years. We thank you for the sweat and suffering, the fasting and praying, the setting aside, to giving up your life so other people can live. God is a good God. We thank God for everyone that has come today. As I look over the congregation, I see Mr. Hugh, Miss Bobby Joe. If y'all could just raise your hand, that's a part of my life and family. I see the Tom family. Oh, thank you, Jesus. I remember them. And they know her in other ways too. They know Gloria. Glory Jean. They know Jean and Gloria. See, it don't matter how somebody know you, and I love what Dr. Bumper said, is as long as you're pushing God and doing God's will, it don't matter how you come. As long as you touch somebody on the way. I feel good about that. He allows us to use our mind and what he's given us. I thank God for Pastor Warren and co-pastor Warren coming out today. They've been out there warfaring and praying, saying too. I believe Reverend Cavanagh said if you check them, you'll see the scars. The battle scars tell you how you've been fighting. Some of us got them scratched. We ain't been out on the front line yet. Because when you've been on the front line, you may come back limping. But I made it from you. And the scars tell the battles you fought. We're so thankful for everybody today. Elder Floyd, the deacons that hold up and stand with them when nobody's here. It makes a difference. We thank God for the missionaries, Pastor Green, and Minister Diane, and Sister Terry, and Sister Nicole. You see, no man is an island to themselves. Woman either. It's to support and other people praying and sacrificing. Somebody said a PK kid, a preacher's kid. I think sometimes we suffer more than anybody. Because a lot of our hopes and dreams lie with the pastor and the preacher. Amen? We don't see the children sometimes. But there's so much we have to go through. At a young age, I was 12, but I had to live like I was a preacher. Your mama's a preacher. If I threw a rock, you can't throw a rock because your mama's a preacher. But I'm a child, but they don't see that. But the children count the cost with the parents.
That's right.
Those 40 years were my 40 years. they work. And I thank God for them. We thank God today. Let's give God's message another hand clap. And I'm gonna turn it over to y'all can do better. Thank you. Thank you for Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you, family. Thank y'all so much. God is so good. Are y'all full? Do y'all feel good? He's so good. I'm so grateful. I'm going to thank my friend Suzanne Madison stopping by. I knew she was going to be on, but Pastor Bishop Terry, she loves her babies. Amen. I saw pictures. Amen. She's a good friend. Amen. And thank God for Sister Monty. Amen. Thank God for looking on. If you work, amen, Sister Monty. Amen. From Atlanta, ATL. Amen. Amen. Thank God for. If you work with Pastor Terry, Bishop Terry, will you please stand so we acknowledge you? If you work with her, amen.
But I didn't get the invitation. They didn't see me.
Amen. Oh, she gonna get you. Amen. But you got it. Thank you. Thank you. She loves.
God has blessed us. God has blessed us. Ain't nothing like the truth.
Yeah.
And I thought about when he was preaching. I said, my God. When it was back there in the back, he said, now how you feel about Pentecostal meeting Baptists? I said, I feel fine. We all serving what he said, one God. That's all right. I said, how you feel about Baptist meeting Pentecostal? I said, I feel pretty good. I thank God for him. I cannot re-preach that beautiful word, but when you hear the truth, that's what we need today. Amen, to tell me the truth. Is that right? That's the way I talk in here. Is that right? Amen, for being in my life, and I thank God when he was talking, I thought about the miracle stem line.
Yeah.
Ain't that all right? The miracle stem line.
Yeah.
And that's the line, everything in the world got that line. The plants, the trees, even the bushes, the flowers have the miracle stem line.
Yeah.
You find it right at the base of the tree. And then if you cut the tree, you see a line. That's the miracle line. Miracle stem. And if you want to see it in a duck, you'll see it through the nutrients they get from their birth. Amen. Is that all right? In their cells.
All right.
All that stuff in the same house. Some decisions that you can go up, grow up. I got a wonderful pastor in the church. He had blessed my soul. He told it that's the way I do it.
That's all right.
Amen. What about that line there, where you make decisions in your body?
Oh, yeah.
Where the plants had to make it. Say, I'm gonna grow tall. Or you want that stay low?
Yeah.
Because the devil like to clip your roots.
Yeah.
So you can stay there.
All right.
Sit down.